Hello, hello, and Hamsa!
Hamsa.
This is our second episode for the Immigrant Boss. And today I have here Gabriel Brakha. He is an immigrant here in the United States doing a beautiful entrepreneur working in the health insurance industry. And he's going to share with us a little bit his story. It's going to be great. Hey, Gabriel.
Thank you for having me, Augusto.
How are you? Good?
Wonderful. Great to be here.
Cool, man. It's good to have you here, man. And I see that you share with me so many good, beautiful countries that you live in, right? So tell me a little bit more about how many countries you live in.
I lived in 8 countries during my life. I was born in France and in Paris. So actually French was my first language.
Okay.
Yeah. Today, unfortunately, is my 4th language in skills. And after France, after having a great time in France, I moved to your country, Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil.
Brazil.
Where in Brazil?
In Brasilia.
Brasilia, okay, in the capital of Brazil.
I had a great time in Brasilia. In that period of time, Brasilia was at a new capital because they moved it from Rio to Brasilia.
Okay.
And there were very few foreigners, but as a kid, I made really good friends with kids from other diplomats from different countries, from Africa, from Switzerland, from Sweden, from everywhere. It was a really, really good, rich social life. And I think that was the period that since then I always was intrigued about people from all over the world, all the international interaction between people. And that's why I'm always curious about people's
so
background.
that curiosity was born in Brazil, like when you were there, hanging out with several people from several countries.
Yes, I would say so, because in France, everybody was French.
Okay.
So, and also when I got in Brazil, I was a little bit older, 6-7 years old. So it was a really interesting experience being in Brasilia.
For how long you lived there?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved to other countries,
Then
right?
I moved to Israel.
Okay.
That's my home country.
Okay.
Believe it or not, going back to my home country, but I didn't know Hebrew.
Okay.
So I had to learn Hebrew from scratch.
Okay.
So I did it, and I spent 3-4 years in Israel.
Fortunately, you were very young. You were a kid, right? To learn Hebrew.
Yeah, all these languages.
Not be very easy it was now, right? After a certain age.
Yeah, I wouldn't learn Hebrew at that stage of my life. I probably won't be able to have a conversation today. But when you learn it when you're young, it's much, much easier. Okay. You know that as well. So I spent a good time in Israel, getting also adapted to the new culture. Okay. Because every country has a different culture, usually. And studied to learn to talk, to write, to read in Hebrew from scratch. And it was also a very interesting experience as well. I went also, a lot of kids don't go through that period of time, but there was a war between Israel and the other countries, and I didn't see my dad for 2-3 months. Okay. He was in the war, so this is also something that a lot of people don't experience.
Okay. Type of experience, like it's a hard type of experience, right?
Yes.
And after Israel, I see here that you went to Panama, Colombia, Belgium, Netherlands, and now the US, right?
Yes.
A lot of different countries. What was the average time that you stay in each one of the countries? And what was the country that you stayed the most?
Well, right now, US is the most.
Okay.
Because I've been here more than 20 years.
Okay. What age did you arrive here? What
in
was
my
your age?
30s.
Okay.
32,
Okay.
something like that. 30,
Okay.
something like that. 31, 32.
Okay, which is also challenging, but you have been speaking before you English before you arrive in the United States, or you kind of had to adapt yourself here too for the language.
I did speak English, but obviously I didn't know the American lingo because
Okay,
they have their own way to speak as well.
but what country did you speak English? Because Brazil, there's not so many people speaking English. Israel, you were learning Hebrew. Panama, I don't think English is the first language to
Spanish,
Colombia.
right.
You know, Belgium, probably Belgium.
No.
What? Why did you speak English? So it was like a self like learning, like schools. How did you get it?
Well, usually when you socialize with people in
Okay.
other countries that they don't speak Spanish or Hebrew or whatever, you speak English with them.
Okay.
So that's how you learn English.
Okay, because you were so open to meet people from other countries. You were practicing.
Constantly.
Okay.
Yeah, all the
Okay.
time.
I see it. I see.
So in Panama, because you mentioned Panama, in Panama I did my middle school basically, but
Okay.
I learned Spanish from scratch again
Okay.
to read and write. So I had to learn,
What
and
what age?
I was about 11,
11? 11 years
and
old.
maybe the Panamanians are not going to like it, but I perfected my Spanish in Colombia
Oh yeah. Okay.
after that.
Because you think the Colombian Spanish is better than Panamanian.
I don't think, I'm sure it's better.
Okay. And I see that you like better Colombia as a country too, right? Because
I'm not. I'm very open about that. Yes,
Yes.
it's a very open country. People are very social, very friendly, and they're very good in business as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, beautiful
For
country.
how long did you stay in Colombia?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. And what age you were?
I finished high school.
Oh, finish high school. Okay. Like 15 to 18 years old, more or less.
17. I finished high school
Okay.
in
Okay.
Colombia. Yeah.
And then that's cool, man. And that's very interesting because there is different breeds into the immigrant lifestyle, right? So, and I see that you, of course, were like with a lot of support, with a lot, with a lot of like probably you didn't pass through any hassle in terms of financials. Your father was there, right? So he was a diplomat, right?
Right.
So yeah, so probably financial didn't pass through the financial struggles that a lot of immigrants pass through, but you have your experiences, and then there's the other kinds of challenges like learning the language, and having not to be attached to a place because you have to be always moving, right? So that shows a different type of perspective. What were the most challenging thing that you think right now, looking back there? What did you miss? What do you think that's something that you miss being like always like immigrating to other countries and stuff?
Well, when one of the things you miss is continuity, basically,
Okay.
because most of the people stay in one place and they keep in touch with each other for many years. But saying that, I can tell you that by pure coincidence, I was able to make contact of one of my friends in third grade in Israel. And I asked him, who are you in touch with? He told me nobody. So it's a yes and a no in a way. So
But it's a kind of a lifestyle for Israeli people, no, to be
I
traveling.
think a lot of people I speak to,
Yeah,
they don't keep in touch with their friends from school
from school. Okay.
and not from high school. Fortunately for me, I have a very strong bond with my high school friends. We have a WhatsApp,
That's good.
and sometimes I'm able even to get information about business. I was looking, for example, for a call center,
Okay.
and and we both in BNI, believe it or not, I got 4 people from call centers that they sent me from Colombia.
Okay.
So not only we have a strong friendship.
Spanish call centers or
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, no, they speak English too.
They speak English too.
Too.
Okay.
So I'm working on that right now. But it's not only good to keep relationships, social relationship with the past friends, but it's also good for business as well.
Okay. That's great, man. That's great to have this experience. And what you got that you think is an amazing stuff that your immigrant lifestyle brought you, you know? What's something that you think, man, this was the three like great stuff that I got having those type of lifestyle? I think I can imagine some, but I would like to see what is your perspective.
Well, obviously, experiencing the life of different countries. A lot of
Okay.
people love to do that because of most of the people that didn't live that lifestyle, they go and visit as a tourist, but they don't live it. If you live it, it's completely different. The second thing is that I have always a hunger to know about other cultures. Always. It doesn't matter which country you are. You can be from Africa, Asia, Europe, South America. But today I think I have more hunger for countries that I haven't seen. I know South America well. I know the culture, the European culture, but I'm missing the African and Asian one a little
Okay.
bit. So I always will have that hunger for the rest of my life because I think it makes it more exotic, more interesting, and you learn from other cultures to be better as well.
That's cool, man. So I think having developed this curiosity was really good in the experience of other countries, so you can apply in your own life. You can pick a little bit something that you think is great for you, right? And apply it. What do you think about something that I see a lot, and I don't know if you agree with me because I lived in like several countries too, and I experienced like one very challenging immigration process in France, and now I experience another very challenging immigration process in the United States. Guys, for me, it's not as easy as having a father as a diplomat, right? Having a father as a diplomat helps a lot in terms of at least the setup, the immigration process, and so on. But anyways, but something that I see that's very significant, at least in my community, the Brazilian community, is sometimes the guys move like that sometimes the guys like visit and they of course they don't experience the culture as visitors, as tourists. You don't experience, but sometimes people really move to a country, but they only hang out with their own guys, with their own community, right? And they don't get to integrate themselves in the country. They don't get to know other like options and stuff. Have you seen this a little bit, like throughout your travels and throughout your experience in life?
You're talking before I came to the US or?
Even in the US or before I came to the US, like people that travel to the countries and they stay in their own community and they don't experience the country itself.
It is normal. It's not normal for me
Okay.
because I like to be out of that box of the community. Every country I go, I don't stay with the people that are similar to me because I know how they behave. I like to interact with people that are different. But you see it all the time, not only with Brazilians or Israelis that they stick with Israelis only or Brazilians stick with. You can see networking.
Yeah.
When you go in networking, and I belong to the French chamber and other chambers, you see that when they meet each other, they just go to meet people they know. But you know them already. Why don't you meet other people you don't know to learn about them? So that's my philosophy. Usually I'm cordial. I say hello to everybody that I know and then try to look for people I don't know. Maybe I can help them, maybe introduce them to other people. That's the way it should be, but that's a habit of human beings usually, overall.
Yeah. So, and what do you think it would be a good practice or something that people could get helped? What good tip for them to break through those habits and really get outside their comfort zone and go see that person or see that culture or see that circles that's not necessarily theirs.
You need to have a state of mind. It's not easy because many of those people are not sales guys like we are. And sales guys, it's easy for them to go and, oh, I'm going to see that person. It seems like he's a nice guy. I like to talk to him, chat with him. It would be great to exchange ideas, business cards. Some people are not made for that. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do it. You just have to think as a state of mind, what am I going to get if I go to a networking event and meet the same person every time, and there are 99 other people that you never met? It doesn't make sense. That's what you have to think to yourself. Okay, so don't meet everybody. Meet one or two people. If you meet one person and you speak to him for half an hour, that's a victory that you never met. So you have to do some kind of self-thoughts, how to do it. Don't be afraid. Nobody bites when you can meet and exchange a lot of interesting ideas with other people. You'd be surprised.
Something that I try to teach my sales teams and when I'm mentoring someone about that, it's like if you feel afraid, try to trick your mind. What I tell to the guys is this, because your mind is going to be fighting against the process of going there outside of comfort zone. So one of the ways that you can trick your mind, of course, there's several other ones, is try to tell your mind that you're not going to go outside the comfort zone or put only one step on it. So what I tell and then you put a second step and a third step. So what I tell my guys is this: whenever you go to a network event, only do this. Do yourself that you're going to move close to a person that you're interested with, but you're not going to talk to them. But you're going to be at least close. If the opportunity happens, you're going to be there. Understand? And then when you're there, you can tell to your mind, you can say only hello. Okay? And then when you say hello, you can tell to your mind that you can say something else, and you start growing your mind so you can break through your mindset to do it. So this is a little technique that I got when I was young, and I was trying to find like beautiful girls, and the girls were so beautiful that I was afraid to say, I'm gonna only be close to her, but I'm not gonna do nothing.
It's actually very similar.
Yeah,
it's a very similar technique. You have to talk to them and push yourself to do that. There's no other choice. And with our agents, sometimes we do certain things that to prospect, because they always ask for leads, for health insurance leads. Most of the health insurance leads are really, really bad quality. So where do I get clients? You can go to a strip mall, talk to the people and say, wow, people are going to start screaming at me while I'm coming. Since everything goes with your state of mind. If you come there well-dressed and said, I'm here as a courtesy to come and help you. If you have any needs on medical insurance, they will be so grateful to you. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much for coming. Because all these people are very busy and they don't have time to search for someone professional to help them. So in a way, it's one of the strategies that we teach our agents to do. And unfortunately, I'm not doing it so much because I have all the time referrals. But once in a while, it's good to do it, because you'll be surprised that people will be very interested in your services.
And
in any business.
And to keep the muscle active too, to keep, this little muscle, this little capacity or skill active. I always tell the guys, sometimes when they're successful, you need to understand from where you came and do again this little basic stuff to make it always active. You never know when you're gonna need this again, right? You never know when the market's gonna flip or
exactly
or you're gonna need this again. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm passing through a process, a very difficult process, because I mean, I'm trying to get to a different level in the company, and I have been investing in different other channels and stuff, and I need to be managing people. But the actual structure is not thriving too much, and I told myself, it's better that I come back and then become a sales again for a little while, so I can like start creating wealth, and then I can really do the step again. And that's important for us to understand how to come back to the base and do the important steps, and really have the foundations really structured, right? And do you think it's applicable for an immigrant that is here in the United States? Do you think being outside of the comfort zone and trying to integrate themselves into networking is very important for them?
It's hugely important, and I think a lot of immigrants knows their way. A lot of immigrants are very successful. So, in a way, when they come here, they come in disadvantage because they don't know the culture. There are a lot of barriers. As you and I know that there's a lot. Some of the stuff that are done here in the U.S. are a little bit square, and there is a process. So, if an immigrant can overcome those things, he can definitely go to another place and surface himself or showcase his business with no problem. That's my opinion. It's not that difficult. I mean, I met so many new immigrants in different chamber of commerce, and they're doing fantastic.
What is the characteristic traits that you think is in a successful immigrant boss?
The successful immigrant boss is someone, well, there are a lot of attributes, first of all, to a boss and to immigrants. They're two different things.
Yeah.
So a boss has to be a leader. A leader has to have a vision. In order to have a vision, you have to understand your business and what you're going to do with your business in 5 or 10 years. The second thing, you cannot do it alone. You have a lot of partners. And the partners has to do with marketing, has to be with suppliers, has to be with a lot of things. So you have to work together with other external parties in order to do that. That's the leadership part of it. Also, you have to know what type of people you want to recruit in order to help you. No boss can do it alone. It's impossible. If for me, it's the same thing as having an insurance agency. I cannot do it alone. I need all these agents to be surrounding me, and I learn from them as well. There's some of them are extremely smart, and I'd say thank you for that because I learned something from you. As an immigrant, it's important to have a tolerance level, to be patient, to earn more business. But remember that the US is one of the best countries to captivate and to acquire business. That's how the country is made. Because if you compare, I always tell, why do you think so many Europeans are coming here? There are a lot of Europeans coming from France and from Spain. That's the statistics. Because it's more difficult to do business there for some reason. I don't know if it's because of taxes or bureaucracy. Here it's easy. I heard from a French guy setting up a company there. It takes about 3 weeks to a month. Here in the US, you go online and you set it up in 2 seconds. It's pretty easy in some bits. So these are the things that makes it easier in the US. So when you overcome this hurdle, the only thing the immigrant has to do is just put yourself in different communities, different chamber of commerce, BNIs, and start showing yourself. And it's pretty easy to do that.
Okay, so mention, if you're a leader, if you're a boss, create a vision, right? And then you have to surround yourself with the right people.
Right.
What do you have any tools to recommend for creating a vision? Do you have anything that you would recommend someone to do? Any tools or anything or any techniques or?
The um, the techniques to have a vision is what you want your business to be in 5 years, and to be more to refine a little bit more which products in your business are better for the future.
Okay.
So, for example, we have several products in our agency that we work with. For example, Medicare, groups, under 65, and expat. The tools that we have used so far to grow our business was hiring and hiring and hiring good people. We did that. But right now, we are working on getting a little bit more of different business, like the expat business, which is insurance for foreign nationals nationwide, and and the group as well. One of the things we are trying to do is right now is to meet as many people that are in the area of HR, or people that are in staffing agency. It's very difficult to have everything together, but when you have one business that is doing well, you can start, how do you say, helping the other product of business getting better by focusing a little bit more, because every type of business require a completely different strategy, 100%. So you have to think yourself. You can use other people to help you. You can have a business coach as well to help you. I know a business coach called Maria Medina, so you can always use her. There are different ways to do that.
Cool. Yeah, so like create a vision, knowing your product line, know what has potential, what does not have potential, and try to break it down. I will add to that. Whenever you have a vision, break down to actionable, items that you can be doing into a period of time, right? So probably have the vision, 5 years. That's what I want. Create actionable things. Okay, so 5 years, what 1 year look like, and to get to 1 year look like, what I need to do this week, this month, and
I
so
agree.
on, right?
I agree. The challenge sometimes with me and other people is we're not able to do everything. It's absolutely crazy. I have a list of so many things I have to do, because we also have different products we want to push into the market, and it takes time. But the most important thing is to have patience. Be patient always. Don't get stressed about anything. If you get stressed, it's not going to help you. Because I think when you're tolerant and patient, it shows a little bit of your mature character. People that are getting stressed or annoyed at an agent or an employee, it shows that you didn't think about it carefully. Because only with these people you can go ahead to the next level. So I learned through the years, that it's very important to be patient, not only with clients, but also with your own employees or agents. It helps a lot. They appreciate that.
And that's something that you learn. You mentioned that you learn through time, so you make your mistakes on that, right? Probably in the past.
Of course.
Can you mention one mistake that you think you made in that direction or in another direction as a business owner that you could potentially be in a different level if you didn't make the mistake, right now?
Trying to think about, you talking about my own business.
Your own businesses, yeah.
Trying to think. When I started the business, I remember I had one agent that was very particular in trying to show me how mistaken I am.
Okay.
So a few times, I think I had one time that I got extremely angry that he was just fabricating stuff about, I think it was commissions which he wasn't paid, but we didn't get paid by the carrier yet. So I explained to him, but maybe it would be better if I will tell him like I'm calm now. Listen, the process of the commission works this way. We get paid at that month, that date, and hopefully you get your commission a few days later. So you shouldn't be worried about it. I think I learned from that, from not being so angry. I was starting my business, so it was practically me and him, and I was doing most of the sales. So I learned from that. Today, I'm not the major producer of the company. I'm probably between 5 to 10% of the company. The rest are the agents that are working very hard.
When you are building a business, you pass through a phase in general. If the actual normal steps is like you build it and you are the driver first, right? And then you have to start replacing yourself through other people, right? And building teams. That's what we've done. You just mentioned, I do only 5% to 10% of the sales of the company, and that was the major before. How did you do to make it? How long it took for you? And what was the good practice that you had to set up your sales team and operations team? What do you think it was the good stuff that you have done?
So you have several questions. Is the process and the timeline, right?
Yes.
So the timeline, I would say probably over 5 years.
Okay.
And the process was recruiting. Sometimes you hire a person that is good, you think is good, but it's not working, and he leaves. So recruiting is a must, constantly.
Okay.
One of the most important thing is to bring results and to develop a trust between those people with me. One of the differences between our agency and others, we treat our agents like clients, which is completely different than others because we make a small margin from their sales. So when you do that and you treat them that well, they will do a lot for you. Because I answer a client and an agent the same way. This is the highest category for me, the highest tier. Every time they have a question, I'll answer immediately. I will do the best as I can to help them to overcome psychological barriers of selling or technical. The most important thing in sales in our industry is relationship. All the technicalities of how the insurance works is not as important, especially when we were presenting carriers that are very, very strong in the market and they paying claims. I can tell you, I received a text a few days ago from a client of mine. Unfortunately, she has cancer. She's going through the 9th chemotherapy. And she's going between Miami and New York. And she told me, Gabriel, you saved my life. Thank you for giving me that Lamborghini. Because those insurance companies, you don't know which one will pay all the claims. There are a lot of products in the market in the US, unfortunately, that they will stop you and they will say, we're not paying the claims because the clause says it's something completely different. But when you offer something that is from a strong carrier, in our case is like Florida Blue, then you're not going to have any issues. And it gives me pleasure to hear from that lady. Obviously, I wished she was in different circumstances, and I wish she's going to be healthy very soon. But I'm happy she's doing well because I can tell you the carrier is paying millions of dollars in claims, millions, with no doubt. So,
how many people you have in your team now?
We have 40 people in our team.
40?
Yeah.
40. Okay, cool. and it took you 5 years to get to the 40 people.
No, actually, 5 years, I think I was around 12, maybe.
Okay.
I think we reached 40 probably in 8 or 10 years.
Excellent. And what was like be always hiring, but you have to set up like a middle managers or trainers or stuff like this in your teams too, right?
We have a quasi or pseudo middle manager for hiring.
Okay.
I tried many times with the agents to have like my position in a way, but many of them don't want to do it. They want to be solo.
Okay.
So I did set up a system that if they refer me an agent, they get an override as well.
Okay.
So 50% of the recruiting that we've done so far up to now is through them.
Yeah, very interesting. What is the mechanics for this? So I'm your agent. I hire for you. So I bring someone in. So everything that this guy will generate, I will get.
You get paid, I think, 30% of it, something like that.
30% of it.
Yes.
30% of what
Of
you
the
get
margin
paid. Yeah.
of the agency, yes.
Yeah,
And that's very clear on the statement as well.
that's cool. I really
Yes.
like this.
So fortunately, we hired a Colombian guy in St. Petersburg. I'm actually going there next week
Okay.
to help him. And he was recruited by another guy. He's actually a Russian speaker.
Cool.
So he already started getting.
And this is a practice for the industry, or it's something that you set up yourself, or other insurance
Every agency is different.
different? Okay.
Yes, every agency is different. Although I could tell you that one of the agencies I used to be as an agent many years ago, they don't exist anymore. I think they have a similar practice.
Okay.
The only difference is that they used to pay much less commission. So if you bring someone else, you do get an override. But if I compare the compensation I offered versus that agency, I mean, there is light years. We offer much better compensation because we don't believe in paying. I'll give you an example: 50% of the commission, and they get 50% if they're doing all the work of prospecting. It doesn't make sense. So that's why our compensation is much higher than that.
How do you structure it?
80-20.
So if the guy does that all the work, he makes 80, and you make 20.
Right.
But if you find for them, if you find the
clients?
deal, the clients, how?
No, I still give them the 80%.
Okay.
Because I feed them with leads or referrals.
Okay.
Many times I give it to somebody else. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't do. It's too complicated for our agency to start calculating the 50. So it's better to do it 80.
Have one
And
way.
also it makes him happier as well.
Cool. And then if they bring someone out of the 20% that the someone
They get the
pay,
5%.
they get 5%.
And we get 15%.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and they start growing and they're happy about it.
Yeah, because they can get the residual type of income as well.
And they do nothing. We train those, we train those agents. They don't train them even.
Okay.
But we thank them for the introduction.
It's a very good thank you, right? For a thank you for life, right?
I mean, some people can become really, really good agents.
Yeah.
So you have to compensate them. You have to. There's no other way.
And what was so probably you have a very, very interesting success story, but I would like to listen success story of an immigrant in your organization. Do you have any very good, interesting success story from someone that came from another country and was doing and started growing with you?
Yes, actually, I have one. I think you might have met him before. He was a sub for me in the BNI. He's from France.
France, okay.
His name is Benjamin.
Okay.
He came here to the U.S., and I think he was in different corporate worlds in banking.
Okay.
And he decided to start with the insurance business, but he went to a different carrier. This carrier has very little qualities of to cover you well. So I told him, if I was your friend, I will get out of there. I don't care if you go to my competitor. But if you continue selling that, you're going to be in trouble. He listened to me, and after 10 years, I just chased him for 2 years. And he joined our team. He did phenomenal in the international and with Florida Blue. And he got a big advance in February. And the funny thing, he called me and told me, Gabriel, you're going to give me a stroke. I said, what are you talking about? The check was too much. I don't know what to do with this deposit. A few days later, Florida Blue sent another check for him to my office. I sent him the picture of the check. He calls me again, you want to give me another stroke? So this is a really success story of a guy that is very ethical. But what's interesting about him is that he's not only ambitious. I have the feeling that something that to do with his personal life makes it successful. He's an Ironman. He did Ironman 7 times. I think 6 he's practicing for the 7.
Okay. So he is.
So his brain is all the
He's
time.
accustomed to
Yes.
discipline and to be driving through and stuff.
Yeah, he's all the time ready. He's ambitious. He's with energy. He talks to me about that he ran with someone a half marathon like he went to the supermarket.
Okay.
So I'm so I have a lot of respect for people like that. I mean, I would like to do that. I know you would like to do that too one day. My running is pretty bad, but I probably can do the swimming. Yeah. So it's a matter of practicing those
Putting out there
disciplines.
the effort, right? Putting out there the effort. How much the top 10 people make in your organization? On average, the top 10, the guys that's really successful.
The range would be between, let me think, 40 or 30 up to close to 300.
300,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So the top 10 should be making between 200 and 300, right? The
Not the
10%.
top 10, but maybe the top 5.
Top
because there is the
And the guys that make like $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, what is their differential?
The differential is that they have a lot of support staff as well. They don't rely only on me.
Okay.
They hire people.
Oh, I see.
They hire people. They even hire people in India.
Okay. So they hire VAs, like virtual assistants.
Yes.
And they try to multiply themselves.
Yes.
Cool. That's a very interesting.
And they're very good in sales. I mean, they were like born for that.
Okay.
And when I mean good with sales is that they give them the detailed information about how it works. Because selling is not pressuring.
Yeah.
Selling is explaining. And you're not supposed to close immediately. You have to wait. The person has to digest the information. You digest it. You come back with more questions. Because don't forget, not everybody is in insurance. If I had to hire you to do a painting in my house, you give me the information, I digest it. But I have probably more questions that you know the answers. So insurance, unfortunately, is one of those products because you cannot see, touch it. It's not tangible. So people scratch their head all the time. But many times we have people coming to me and tell me, what is the average insurance? So there is no average insurance. Every person is different. Someone wants a product like that. Someone wants a product like that. There are about 50 products. If I give you the average product and sell it to you, you will probably hate me because I didn't ask the questions. So it's very important to go and take the hand of each person and ask the right questions. That's the best way.
Cool. What's the vision for the future? What you're looking to accomplish in the future? So right now you have 40 agents. let's look into 5 years. How many agents you want to have? What is the size, the financial size? What's your gross revenue like in 5 years?
I'll be very frank with you. I don't have I have an idea, but I don't have the answer for the tools. Because when you reach, when you have 40, 50, to reach to 100, you need to have a very specific strategy.
Okay.
And I had a meeting with a guy that is in, he's actually a staffing agency.
Okay.
Why you don't have 100, he asked me. And I was scratching my head and I didn't have an answer. So I'm thinking about what do I have to do in order to get 100 now? Because a lot of people that are in this industry, they don't have a salary. And all these people that are earning what I told you, $200 or $50 or $100,000 a year, they're all commission, but it's their book of business. So I have to think about it very carefully to know if I want to increase that 40 or 50, or I want to increase into other spaces, other products. What is better for me?
Okay, yeah, because you can potentially grow into the number of agents, but you can grow into make them sell other products as well, right?
Yes.
So you're going to grow. But what will be the average, what will be the company's income if you get to this point in 5 years?
Well, the income will be linear way. I mean, if you have 40 agents and then you get to 100, it's time 2.5.
Okay.
Assuming that we have more or less the same agents.
Okay.
Because today we used to have 50 agents before, and the income is the same. So
Okay.
it's because we have several very strong agents.
I see.
Yeah. But another thing I wanted to mention that is stuck in my head all the time is that I want to see if I can set up a nonprofit one day to help homeless people.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it yet. I'm very new at this. I visited few homeless places before. I volunteered once as well. This is something that I cannot understand why in the U.S. in the traffic stoplight there's so many homeless people begging for money. Yeah. If there was a system that we can put them back to work and contribute to the economy, would be great.
And this is in general, I thought for successful people, right? How to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting. So guys, as you can see, we were here with Gabriel, my great friend Gabriel, and he got like beautiful tips in how to be a good immigrant, successful immigrant, and a successful boss in the health insurance industry. So if you're looking to grow and be in this industry space, of course, you can find him. We're gonna put here the description below of the video all his informations. Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you, Augusto. Prazer.
Prazer meu. It was great to be here with you. And that's it, guys. So I'm looking forward to do the next episodes. You're gonna see good stuff.